All right, good afternoon, everybody. We're about to start. Hopefully more persons will join in after. I just need one of you to indicate, can you see what is on the screen? And then we can start.
Yes, sir.
All right, and everybody is hearing me clearly as well, right? Yeah? No? Everybody hear me? All right. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go through 3 multiple choice papers. We're going to go from 1 to 4, 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock. And we're going to go through 2017, 2018, and 2019. Those are the ones that I have the answers for. We're going to go through as well. But we have some other multiple choice papers that we can send afterwards. It's just to practice these and to go through the answers. So it's a very small group, so maybe we will go through even more quickly. And you know how multiple choice is already. You're going to, for the first module questions, so part of it, I'm going to read part of the extract, but you'll see it on the screen as well. And then we're going to go through the questions after that. All right. So let us begin. So I'm going to show you this on the screen, and then when I'm finished with this, I'm going to show you what the questions are, and then we'll go through them. So the extract that I read, first 7 questions is gathering and processing information. Each module has 15 questions. So module 1, 15, 15, 15, module 2, module 3. And we're going to listen carefully as I read it, and you can take notes while it is being read. It has to be read to you twice. And it's not a dictation, it's just reading at normal pace. All right, so it's just very short. So this is from The Woodlanders by Thomas Hardy, and it starts as follows. So spring weather came on rather suddenly, the unsealing of buds that had long been swollen, accomplishing itself in the space of one warm night. The rush of sap in the veins of the trees could almost be heard. The flowers of late April took up a position unseen and looked as if they had been blooming a long while. Though there had been no trace of them the day before yesterday, birds began not to mind getting wet. Indoor people said they had heard the nightingale, to which outdoor people replied contemptuously that they had heard him a fortnight before. Right? So you read it and then we pause it, and I'm going to read it a second time. Right? So spring weather came on rather suddenly, the unsealing of buds that had long been swollen, accomplishing itself in the space of one warm night. The rush of sap in the veins of the trees could almost be heard. The flowers of late April took up a position unseen and looked as if they had been blooming a long while. Though there had been no trace of them the day before yesterday, birds began not to mind getting wet. Indoor people said they had heard the nightingale, to which outdoor people replied contemptuously that they had heard him a fortnight before. So that's from The Woodlanders by Thomas Hardy. And then we're going to go into the questions now. So you can see the questions on the screen, right? This is 2017. Right? All right, so the first question is saying, just like with paper 2, they're going to ask you things like main idea, main purpose. When you know multiple choice, some of it will repeat. So maybe you'll see 1 or 2 questions again. We're going to see questions repeating. So 1, what is the main idea of the extract? Spring is a time of tremendous beauty. Birds are part of the beauty of spring. Spring seems to have appeared overnight. Spring rains make everything beautiful. Anybody, guys? Because I'm just going to call the answer if I don't hear much.
Is it A?
No, it's not A. A is not the answer.
Sorry, is it C?
C. Spring seems to have appeared overnight. Okay? So I don't want to switch back and forth, but that is really the main gist. Right? So 2, the writer's main purpose. What is the writer's main purpose? Show that spring comes after winter, comment on what birds do at springtime, convey the memorable impact of spring's arrival, or describe the beauty of the natural world during springtime.
C.
Yeah, C is the answer. All right. So 3, the expression.
Are you going to highlight them? Like highlight the answers?
To highlight the answer, the writer's main purpose.
Yeah, no, I thought you were going to highlight the answers for the questions while we're answering.
Oh no, yeah, don't worry about it. They're gonna be sent to you. So I can't highlight it on this document because we're gonna keep reusing it. So don't worry about it. But you can take notes as we go along. Right. So the expression that, and if you miss anything, you can just ask me. Just ask me to refer to the question. What was number 6 again? Because I have the answers right in front of me. So the expression, the flowers of late April took up a position unseen, is an example of what? Metaphor, hyperbole, alliteration, personification.
Is the answer personification?
Yeah, 3 is D, personification. All right. Number 4. Number 4, what is the dominant imagery used by the writer in the extract? Is it oral, visual, tactile, olfactory? Oral, hearing, visual, seeing, tactile, touch, olfactory, smell. So which one is the main one?
Visual.
Visual, yeah, visual is the answer. So 4 is B. 5. So remember, the first 7 questions are just like literature, basically. So 5, the word that best describes the mood of the passage is what? Idyllic, somber, peaceful, exhilarating.
A.
Yeah, idyllic, it's happy, nature. 6, the word closest in meaning to unsealing as used in the extract is what? So unsealing, I'll go back, no. So the unsealing of buds that had long been swollen, accomplishing itself. So is it gaping, opening, exposing, prospering?
Opening.
Opening. 6 is B, yeah. 7, which of the following devices is reflected in the final sentence? Irony, contrast, oxymoron, or personification. Final sentence, it says, indoor people said they had heard the nightingale, to which outdoor people replied contemptuously that they had heard him a fortnight before. So what is used? Irony, contrast, oxymoron, personification.
That would be contrast.
Yeah, contrast. 7 is B. All right. Yeah, so you guys are getting it. All right. So if anybody has any questions, you can just put it in the chat. It's easier to read the chat since there are not that many of us. All right. So let's continue. We're still on module 1.
Sir, I think someone had asked to see number 6. Ron, if you could repeat the answer for number 6.
Number 6. Yeah. 6 is B. Opening, unsealing, opening. So remember, you can just write down the answers as I read them. B as in boy.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Right, so moving on, number 8, still module 1. So read the following scenario, answer questions 8 to 11. So the media is filled with reports of teenagers being distracted by digital technology, and that preoccupation is affecting their schoolwork. Haldane, a sociology student, decides to investigate this phenomenon at his school, which is located in the countryside. He intends to use interviews to collect data. And so this is talking about, research, communication, and so on. That is a part of module 1, gathering and processing information. So which of the following activities would Haldane need to undertake as part of his research? So 1, talking to parents and teachers. 2, finding out how many students own digital devices. Or 3, choosing a sample that is representative of his school's population. So it's a combination of any of those. For number 8. D as in dog?
Yes.
Yeah, all right, that's the answer. You have to do all of them. So 8 is D. 9, Which of the following would be an advantage if Haldane conducted interviews? A, costliness of the procedure, wide geographic coverage of informants, high reliability of the information to be collected, or in-depth nature of the information to be collected. Should be straightforward.
D.
D. Yeah, D as in dog. Yeah, D as in dog. 10. Haldane found an article entitled Modern Technology Causing Canadian Students to Fail. This article could be useful to his research as it is what? Reliable and accurate, can yield sufficient data, provide secondary data, or can provide primary data. Number 10.
For C.
Said C? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, C.
Is that answer?
Provide secondary data, C. All right. So 10 is C. Number 11. Why would it be unacceptable for Haldane to apply the findings of his research to all teenagers? Is it that he plans to use only interviews? The school has more girls than boys. The respondents might not tell the truth, or the population is only students from his school.
D.
D. Yeah, the answer is dog. So 11 is dog. All right, so before we move on, 8 is dog, 9 is dog, 10 is cat, and 11 is dog. Right, everybody on the same page? And so
Yes,
moving on to 12 to 15, still module 1. Just looking to see if more persons have joined. So Miss Trisha Davis is the head of the English department at Malcolm High School. She realizes that over a 5-year period, fewer students are choosing literatures in English as an option in sixth form. She would like to research the reason for this and to put in place a program to reverse this situation. Right, number 12, which of the following outcomes would not be achieved if Miss Davis uses school records for the past 10 years as a data source? Said not. So 12, is it validity, accuracy, credibility, or subjectivity?
D.
Yeah, D, dog. Okay, that's pretty objective and valid. So 13, which of the following factors can invalidate the generalization which the researcher makes from the findings? Is it the sample is too large, sample is not representative of the population, research is carried out only in Miss Davis' school, or the research is conducted during end of year examinations?
B.
Yeah, 13 is B. Why? Yeah, 14, which of the following must the researcher consider when selecting a sample? Composition of the school's population, size of the school's population, accuracy of the school's data. Which combination?
D as in dog.
Yeah, all of them. All right. 15, the mode of writing that Miss Davis should employ in her report is what? Narration, argument, exposition, or description?
C.
C, yeah, exposition. All right, and that's module 1. So you get a feel of what module questions are like. They give you extracts. Some of it has to do with research, validity, reliability, and things like that. All right, so moving on to module 2, which is dealing with language and the community.
From number 12 to 15, from number 13 to 16, please.
13, you want to go back over the answers for those?
Yes, sir.
All right, so 12 is dog, 13 is boy, 14 is dog, and 15 is cat.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Yeah. All right, so next one, 16 to 19, module 2. So this is language and the community. So we're dealing with patois. All right, so this is an extract, Her Loveless Wine of Astonishment. The boy came back home for a few days holiday, see some crabs Crosby having a barrel. This is the son. Dad, what are those things there? Talking like Englishman. Crosby ain't tell him nothing. When he poke his finger in the barrel and the crab catch hold of him, he bawled, "Pa, the crab, the crab." A well-educated boy, yes? Lawyer, economist, or something. Right? So you can all see it. Number 16, which of the following expressions contains syntactical features common to Caribbean English Creoles? Syntax is, everybody would be familiar with that. Is it a well-educated boy? What are those things? Pa, the crab, or talking like Englishman?
Yes,
The answer B.
So I would say B.
E, the as
Yes,
in
in
dog.
mm-hmm. That's the answer.
yes, and dog.
Yeah, dog, the as in dog, Caribbean English Creole. And they say talking like Englishman. That sounds like English Creole. The rest of them, you won't readily pick that up. That's what they mean by syntax. So how the language, how it sounds. So 17, what feature of Caribbean English Creole grammar is using the expression Crosby ain't tell him nothing? What feature is used? Is it absence of a copular, reduction of a syllable, use of double negatives, repetition of the same word? So this is 17.
C.
C,
Yes, in cat.
See,
double negative, everybody said not. 18, what attitude towards the boy is suggested by the narrator's statement, talking like Englishman, Crosby ain't tell him nothing? Jealousy, frustration, disapproval, amusement.
see,
C? Why C? C is not the answer I know.
Is it
Talking
B?
like- It's more D. So which one is the best answer? It's more amusement. He's saying he's talking like an Englishman. Crosby ain't tell him nothing. And basically making fun of him. So it's more amusement, D. So 19, what does the extract suggest about the relationship between the boy's education and his use of language? Is it that his education has influenced his language? His education hindered his use of standard English? He speaks English Creole because he's an educated lawyer, or his education has nothing to do with his use of standard English? 19. A, yeah, his education has influenced his language. He's talking like an Englishman. So 16 is dog, 17 is cat, 18 is dog, and 19 is A, apple. Everybody on the same page?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. 20, still in module 2. So another extract. Don't shout at me was all he got for his pains. Don't you deafen me. What's the young varmint says, Maud? Mrs. Dovecot came over and got him to understand after 2 or 3 attempts. 3 pence, Maudie, he cackled. 3 pence. Did you hear that, Maud? Did you ever hear the like? I'll bet you ain't never did. 3 pence. The lad'll have money. What I's got to sweat blood for, just to give that Megahi what got his bread so well buttered off on both sides, not to mention the middle. 3 pence. Ha ha. Oh, Maudie. And he broke down once in helpless laughter. Clement went out and sat under the breadfruit tree that grew before the door, resting his back against the trunk. So, yeah, this is a short story written by a Trinidadian. So the dialects will sound a little different from Jamaican. So which of the following expressions, number 20, contains features of non-standard English dialect? You ain't never did, what I's got to sweat blood for, sat under the breadfruit tree.
Or is it A?
Yeah, just A, 1 and 2 alone. All right, number 21, which of the following communicative behaviors is not present in the extract? Vocalics, chronemics, proxemics, or facial expression. So, vocalics is like volume of voice, chronemics has to do with time, proxemics has to do with distance. So it's not present. 20. B. No, you can tell B is there because of the pauses.
So is it dog?
Yeah, it's dog, facial expression. So vocalics is there. Chronemics is there, proxemics is there. Yeah, Mrs. Dovecot came over, Clement went out, sat under the breadfruit tree. All of that is movements. When he said, don't deafen me, don't shout at me, so you're shouting. So that's an example of vocalics. So the only one that's not there is facial expression. So 21 is D, dog. So 22, which of the following registers is used in the dialogue? Register different from tone, casual, frozen, formal, or consultative. So A. Yeah, it's casual. Right? So it's A. So 20 is A, 21 is dog, and 22 is A. All right. So we're moving on. Next one is always extracts. It's just for you to apply the knowledge that you have. So Rufus had in him a passion, a kind of vexation that when he stand up before a crowd, he would get all tangled up with his words and feelings. But Rufus don't have the education. They tell this story how one night at a meeting, Rufus was talking about the cost of living. People can't eat book in this country, Rufus said. People can't eat words. What the people need is bread, B-R-E-D, bread. Rufus, you leave out the A, somebody from the crowd called out to him. And Rufus correct himself, B-R-E-D-A. They tell of another time, the reporter tell Rufus that Mr. Richardson suggests that they should put more boys out in the sea to mark the area. Boys, Rufus said, big men does drown out there in the sea and he want to put boys. No, we couldn't vote for Rufus. Who we want in the council is a man that qualified, a man with education just like the people in Britain. Ivan could really talk. Rufus was all right, but after you listen to Ivan Martin, you had to put Rufus aside. And so 23, say, what purpose is language serving when it is used to judge one's level of education, as in the case with Rufus? Is it social, ethical, political, or psychological? 23.
Is it social?
No, it's not A. Close, they have a closer answer than A. In this case.
Is it dog?
So, no.
Political.
It's political, 23C. So, you know, it's a political rally and two of them are talking to their supporters and stuff. So in this context, it's political. In another context, it might have been social, but it's 23C. So 24, which are the following best shows why the narrator relates stories about Rufus? Is it to provide some comic relief? Is it to show that Rufus is uneducated, to show some of the mistakes Rufus makes, or to validate the view that Rufus is competent? 24.
B.
Yeah, 24 is B, to show that Rufus is uneducated. 25, which of the following sets of communicative behaviors is likely to be displayed by the people as they listen to Rufus speak? 25, is it lack of eye contact and loud cheers and thunderous applause, shaking heads and lack of eye contact, or thunderous applause and shaking heads?
C.
25 is somebody said C? No?
C.
All right, so the answer that I have is C, shaking heads and lack of eye contact, because if people think he's uneducated and, you know, he's just okay as a person, but not as a communicator, they're not going to pay much attention to him. So they're going to say this man is an idiot. So they'll shake their heads and not really look at him. So the closest answer for 25 is C, shaking heads, lack of eye contact. 26, which of the following attitudes may be inferred about the narrator based on his account of Rufus's behaviors? So he values education, he likes British people, he does not like people with passion, he was unsympathetic towards Rufus. 26.
A.
A, yeah, he likes the other guy with the education. So 23 is C, 24 is B as in boy, 25 is C, and 26 is A. Still under the same one. 27, which of the following Creole features is evident in the structure, tangle up with his words and feelings? Repetition, reduplication, unmarked present tense, or unmarked past participle? 27.
C.
27? No, 27 is not C.
Where is it, dog?
Yeah, dog. D, unmarked past participle. So he tangled up with his words and feelings. So it's past tense, past participle, I should say. Like he was tangled up with his words and feelings. So it's dog. So 28, which of the following words appropriately captures the crowd's attitude towards Rufus? Affection, dissatisfaction, contempt. It's 28.
Sure, is it A, 2 on?
Yeah, it's A, just dissatisfaction, because they don't hate him, they don't really love him that much either. They're just dissatisfied. So 27 is dog and 28 is A. So the last two questions in this module, then the next module. So an English Creole in the Caribbean may be defined as what? As a language, what? With limited linguistic functions, used by the poorest people in society, only understood by some persons in society, developed from contact between Europeans and Africans. 29. D, right? Dog. Yeah, 29 is dog. All right, 30. In which of the following expressions is the process of reduplication evident? I water, stepsister, wagwan, chaka chaka house.
So the answer D.
Straightforward, yeah, D. So 29 is D and 30 is D. So moving on to the
sir, can you remind me what reduplication is, please?
It just means, your repetition. So chaka chaka, and you have many other examples in Jamaican Creole, like dede, dege dege, things like that. And so you can get it now? Get it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, yeah, 29D, 30D. All right, last module, which is writing and speaking. So this is like when you had to write stuff like proposals and communication and stuff and whatever. Same thing here in multiple choice. All right, so Mrs. Smith asked her class to prepare short presentations on the topic, why I favor Caribbean people more than any other set of persons. The students were to pretend that their audience comprised nationals of various English-speaking countries. The following is an excerpt from one student's speech. A pleasant good evening. How are you, friends and family? Let me see the hands of those who are having a good time. Come on, let me see the hands of those who are having a good time. Wave your hands and say bling, bling. Okay, why I favor Caribbean persons is that my parents are of African descent. The Caribbean is mostly Black country, therefore most of the people are Black. I am one of them. My father Black, my mother Black, and my brother Black. We're all Black. Some people say I look like my father, others say my mother, but I think that we all look alike. All the students struggle to hide their amusement. They try to cover their mouths with their hands to avoid laughing out loud at her misunderstanding. Of course, the speaker did not see this as her eyes were glued to the paper from which she was reading. Right? So 31, which of the following best explains why the presenter's introduction would not be considered effective? Not. Is it A, the audience was distracted, B, the focus was on entertainment, C, it was inappropriate for the context, or D, it was delivered using the wrong register? 31.
Dog.
Why dog? There's a closer answer than dog.
All right, like, sir, I'm looking at entertainment, but at the same time, I don't think the presenter was trying to really entertain them, but I don't think I'm gonna know.
I mean, okay, I get it, but there's a closer answer than dog. So it's not B, yeah, it's not entertainment. Yeah, anybody says A? Nobody says A. Audience was distracted.
Or would it be C?
No, it's not C. So 31 is A. The audience was distracted. So how you can tell? So the she had to repeat, let me see the hands of those who are having a good time. Let me see the hands of those who are having a good time. The fact that she had to repeat it, persons were not really paying much attention. So it implied from that the audience was really distracted. The fact that she had to repeat, she didn't grab their attention immediately. So 31, the closest answer there is A. So it's not that the others are really wrong. What they want is best. Remember I said which of the following best explains why the presenter's introduction is not effective. So 32, at which state of the communication process did the students giggle? Is it feedback, encoding, decoding, or conceptualization? 32. What, guys? 32?
A.
Yeah, they gave feedback. They started to laugh, right? 33, which of the following best explains why the student misunderstood the question? Is it she did not do enough research, she's weak and did not ask questions, she's incapable of using standard English, or she misunderstood a keyword in the topic? 33. Best explains why the student misunderstood the question. But the question was why I favor Caribbean people more than any other set of persons. And the students were to pretend that their audience comprised nationals of various English-speaking countries. And then now she said, okay, why I favor Caribbean persons, that my parents are of African descent. Caribbean is mostly Black, we're all Black, and so on and so forth. So she clearly misunderstood the question. So they're asking why, what explains the reason, the best reason for that?
Sir, is it dog?
Yes, dog. She misunderstood a keyword in the topic. So they asked her, why is it I favor Caribbean people more than any other set of persons, right? And it seems like she misunderstood Caribbean. She said Caribbean is a Black, mostly Black country, most of the people Black, right? But she's not explaining herself. She didn't answer the question. So the answer for 33 is dog. She misunderstood a keyword. We might have to skip over this because it wasn't scanned properly. So you won't be able to see the questions. But I'll still send the answers with everything else. So we'll move on to 39, and we see that you're gonna get visual stuff in this one as well, based on how the papers are set up. These people are holding up signs, unemployable due to stupid personal stuff I put on my Facebook page. Me too. For me, it was an embarrassing YouTube video. So 39 asks, which of the following is the result of inappropriate use of social media by the characters? Loss of family time, delayed response from employers, damage to the characters' reputations, access by future employers to the internet. 39. Yeah.
B.
Yeah, 39 is D. Right, almost finished the first one. 40, you can see that advertisement, it looks a bit clear. Which of the following language techniques is not used in the advertisement? Pun, sarcasm, repetition, or rhetorical question. This is 40. Want to lose weight? Don't wait. Use slims, no regrets. Results in 90 days. Slims a day, keep the fat away.
B.
40. B, yeah, no sarcasm. The pun is there. It said don't want to lose weight, don't wait. Repetition is there. Rhetorical question is there, want to lose weight. So 40 is B, sarcasm. 41, the main function of the first line of the advertisement is to do what? Capture the reader's attention, introduce the advertisement, help the reader to lose weight, or encourage the reader to respond. 41. Yeah, 41 is A, capture the reader's attention. 42, slims a day, keep the fat away is an example of which of the following techniques? Simile, rhyme, repetition, personification.
Is it rhyme?
Yeah, rhyme, B. So we're moving a little fast, so we might finish before 4 o'clock. Well, after we finish this, we'll just take a little 3-minute break and we'll move on to the next one. So 43, you are asked to speak to a group of 20 kindergarten children on the topic of environmental cleanliness. Kindergarten children. So 43 is which of the following would be the most appropriate way to share the information with your audience? Panel discussion, animation and speech, televised documentary, PowerPoint presentation.
B.
B.
Yeah, 43 is B. 44, which of the following is the correct sequence that a presenter should follow to successfully complete the communication process? So all of those things that you learn the first few classes in com studies, they're going to ask them back here. So I don't want to be repetitive, but you can see it without me having to read it. 44. Which one would come first? encoding the message comes first. So C and D are automatically out. So what comes after encoding?
Is it A?
A,
44. Selecting the channel, selecting the audience, disseminating the message. Yeah, so it's A, selecting the channel, selecting the audience, disseminating the message. So, and everybody knows the difference between channel and medium by now. So 44 is A. 45, which are the following, is not a feature of exposition. Use of emotive language, use of supporting details, information from experts, facts, and relevant statistics. 45.
A,
Yeah, use of emotive language. All right. So I realized I didn't repeat back the answers, but you guys, we're going at a reasonable pace, so I think you should probably catch it. But if anybody missed anything, you can just let me know. So we're finished with 2017. Yeah. We're gonna move on to 2018, but just take off 5 minutes and then we'll start again. All right. I hope the numbers don't go down. So everybody who is here, I want them to stay, or if you have to leave and come back, remember to come back 5 minutes. So we'll start at 5 minutes to 2. All right, guys, we're going to start back now. We're going to do 2018 paper, same procedure. We're going to read through the extract twice, and then we answer the first 7 questions in module 1, and then module 2, and then module 3. So 2018, the extract says, all right, so the living room would be a comfortable and well-ordered room if it were not for a number of indestructible contradictions to this state of being. Its furnishing are typical and undistinguished, and their primary features now is that they have clearly had to accommodate the living of too many people for too many years, and they are tired. Still, we can see that at some time, a time probably no longer remembered by the family, except perhaps for Mama, the furnishings of this room were actually selected with care and love and even hope, and brought to this apartment and arranged with taste and pride. That was a long time ago. Now the once loved pattern of the couch upholstery has to fight to show itself under acres of crotchety doilies and couch covers which have themselves finally come to be more important than the upholstery. And here a table or a chair has been moved to disguise the worn places in the carpet, but the carpet has fought back by showing its weariness with depressing uniformity elsewhere on its surface. Weariness has in fact won in this room. Everything has been polished, washed, sat on, used, scrubbed too often. All pretenses but living itself have long since vanished from the very atmosphere of this room. Right? So pause and then we read it again. And you can see it, but I'm still going to read it again. And then we start the first 7 questions. All right, so let's read it again. The living room would be a comfortable and well-ordered room if it were not for a number of indestructible contradictions to this state of being. Its furnishing are typical and undistinguished, and their primary features now is that they have clearly had to accommodate the living of too many people for too many years, and they are tired. Still, we can see that at some time, a time probably no longer remembered by the family, except perhaps for Mama, furnishings of this room were actually selected with care and love and even hope, and brought to this apartment and arranged with taste and pride. That was a long time ago. Now the once loved pattern of the couch upholstery has to fight to show itself under acres of crotchety doilies and couch covers which have themselves finally come to be more important than the upholstery. And here a table or a chair has been moved to disguise the worn places in the carpet, but the carpet has fought back by showing its weariness with depressing uniformity elsewhere on its surface. Weariness has in fact won in this room. Everything has been polished, washed, sat on, used, scrubbed too often. All pretenses but living itself have long since vanished from the very atmosphere of this room. Right, so we move on to the questions now. All right, number 1, which of the following best captures the main concern conveyed in the extract? Best. So is it the durability of the living room furnishings, the pride that can result from preserving family heirlooms, the decline and exhaustion which is a consequence of living, or the dreams and aspirations of the family who inhabited the room? Number 1.
C.
You said C?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, C, decline and exhaustion, which is a consequence of living. Everybody understands why it is C, right? Best. I mean, the person is describing the furniture and how it was good, but now it's bad from lack of care. So decline and exhaustion, which is a consequence of living. So number 2, the expression indestructible contradictions as used in the extract best suggests that the A, room was a contradictory place to be, room and its furnishings were indestructible, changes in the room over the years could not be contradicted, and the difference between the room's appearance and reality could not be ignored. 2. Best suggests what? Yes, guys?
D.
Yeah, D. The difference between the room's appearance and reality could not be ignored. Indestructible contradiction. So let me go back to what it said. that the living room would be a comfortable and well-ordered room if it were not for a number of indestructible contradictions to this state of being. Difference between the room's appearance and reality could not be ignored. Number 3, so 2 is D. Number 3, which of the following literary devices are mainly used in the extract? Metaphor and paradox, metaphor and contrast, personification and paradox, or contrast and personification. Number 3. Guys, and I know this one is a bit more difficult and it's longer than the last one, but take your time. 3 main literary devices that you can see. Let me go back to it. I mean, we know contrast is 1 because it's comparing when it was good to know when it was bad. So any more that is in there? Love pattern of couch upholstery as to fight. So that is what that's a metaphor, right? So you see different examples in it. Well, no, that is personification. Okay? It has to fight. You have a few metaphors in there, but would we agree that it is dog, contrast, and personification? We don't see much examples of paradox in there, and there are not many metaphors. Guys, anybody?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the answer is D. 3 is dog. Right? Number 4 is Mama is perhaps the only member of the family to remember the furnishings as they were at some time in the past because what? She is the most observant member of the family, is the only one to clean and care for them, might have selected and arranged them in the room, or is the only one who knows how the family's fortune had declined. Or 4? Yeah, why would Mama be the only one to remember? Any thoughts, guys? So still we can see that at some time probably no longer remembered by the family except for Mama, furnishings of the room were selected with care. Right? So 4 the answer is C. C, selected and arranged them in the room. Right? She was the one who did that. That's why she remembers. So 4 is C. 5, the pervading mood of the room in the extract is one of what? Decline and hope, decay and decline, optimism mixed with despair, or disappointment mixed with hope. Number 5.
B.
Yeah, B, decay and decline. Right, 5 is B. 6, the expression show itself under acres of crotcheted doilies and couch covers is an example of what? Irony, hyperbole, comparison, juxtaposition. Yes, it's right here. Number 6.
B.
Show itself under acres. B, hyperbole. That's clear exaggeration. So 6 is B. 7, writer's attitude towards the room indicates a sense of what? Muted admiration, concerned despair, triumphal optimism, or careless indifference. 7.
B.
B, concerned despair. Like it's dreary, it's gloomy, it can decay, decline. So the answer is B. So 1 is C as in cat, 2 is D as in dog, 3 is also D as in dog, 4 is C, 5 and 6 are both B, 5B, 6B, and 7 is also B. All right, so we're finished with the extract. So we can move on. Still module 1. All right. So a news report indicates that citizens have been buying foreign used cars rather than new ones. Your sixth form class has decided to conduct research to find out which cars people prefer. Number 8 asks, which of the following is the most appropriate method for collecting the data? Is it inquiry, checklist, discussion, or questionnaire?
Questionnaire.
Yeah. D. Number 9.
Questionnaire, dog.
Yeah. Number 9, Which of the following does not reflect how an interview might be administered for this research? Sending an email to a manager, taking note of certified vehicles, talking with a contract over the phone, or discussing preferences with consumers. Number 9, does not.
Sir, is it B?
Is it B as in boy?
Yeah, B as in boy.
Yeah, 9 is B. Right? 10, which of the following is a reliable secondary source of data for this research? Licensing officers, newspaper articles, consumers buying cars, or managers of sales companies. Reliable source of secondary data. So remember that.
B?
B, boy, newspaper articles. Right? So 10 is boy. 11, government records of motor vehicles ownership can save the researchers time and effort as they, what? Can be located online, can be copied and studied later, are signed by licensing officers, or give precise data on what occurred. 11. Guys, 11, government records.
A.
That's not the best answer. What would be a better answer? Why would government records have motor vehicles? I mean, we don't even know if it's online. So we can't assume that either way.
Sir, D.
But it's D. 11 is D. Gives precise data. We don't know if it can be located online. We don't know if we can even copy it, or we can just see it one time. And we don't know if they're signed by licensing officers. But what we do know is that government records they are the only ones who have this kind of data. So it can give precise data on what has occurred. So 11 is dog. So 8 is dog, 9 is boy, 10 is boy, and 11 is dog. All right, so move on to the next set. Still module 1. At a recent meeting with the principal of Mansfield High School, Ministry of Education revealed that a check of the most recent census documents shows that some senior students of the school have been irregularly attending classes. The ministry decided to hire a research company to investigate the likely reasons for the students' irregular attendance. Number 12 asks, which of the following must the research company consider when selecting a sample? Is it the accuracy of census documents, average number of respondents, how well it represents the population, how knowledgeable the respondents are? Number 12. Do a sample what we want to ensure. You said B or B?
B as in
No,
boy.
is it C?
No, it's C. You're selecting a sample, so it has to be representative of the population. So 12 is C. How well it represents population. 12 is C. So 13, if the research company used observation as a method of collecting data, which of the following would be an advantage? Predicting the behavior to be observed, directly witnessing the behavior of participants, spending an extended period of time collecting data, or participants changing their behavior while being observed. Which of the following is an
Sir, is it B? B as in boy?
Yeah, B as in boy, directly witnessing the behavior of participants. 14, if the research company only collected data in the morning, which of the following would be adversely affected? Validity, time spent in the field, access to informants. Which combination of those? Number 14.
D.
You said D?
D as in dog.
Yeah, D as in dog. Time spent in the field, access to informants, and validity. So 14 is dog. 15, which of the following URLs is the least likely to provide credible information on student attendance? Is it .edu, .gov, .com, or .org? Least likely, 15. All right, this one might not be so obvious. Answer. Any ideas, guys?
So is it C?
Yeah, it's C, because GOVs tends to typically be valid, and credible. EDU was an educational website, ORGs and organizational, but COM, there are many .coms, and most of them are commercial websites. That's what the COM is for. So, and the answer for 15 is C. So 12 is C, 13 is boy, 14 is dog, and 15 is C. So we'll finish with module 1. So we'll reach module 2 now, which is the patois, language and community. So this is a dialogue among 3 people. Paul says, "Good morning, everyone. How are you today?" Samantha replies, "Me good, Paul, although my foot bottom hurt me." Brian says, "Me no feel good because Paul ever tried chat hoity-toity, speaky, spokey to way and me no like it." Paul says, "Brian, I do not understand. We are all educated, so we should be speaking Caribbean Standard English and not some broken language." Samantha says, "Yes, me educated, but when me I chat to my friend them, me not have to use Caribbean Standard English. After all, me not do no interview." And Brian says, "True, Samantha, plus me not speak no broken language. I am speaking Caribbean Creole English." Right? So 16 asks, when Brian accuses Paul of speaking hoity-toity in line 3, Brian is suggesting that Paul is using language to do what? Assert authority, show sophistication, make social commentary, or discriminate against others. 16.
B as in boy.
Yeah? B as in
B.
boy.
Mhm.
Boy. Right? 17. Which of the following factors would affect dialectal varieties used by the various speakers in the scenario? Audience, occasion, purpose. Which combination of them? Which of them would affect it? Audience, occasion, purpose. Any of them, none of them, only 2 of them?
All of them.
All of them.
Yeah. All. Yeah.
All of them. So D, 17 is dog. And 18, which of the following speakers advocate using language as identification? Paul and Brian, Paul and Samantha, Samantha and Brian, or Paul, Samantha and Brian?
Samantha and Brian.
18. 18 no, as identification. Well, Samantha doesn't use as identification, but Brian does, and Paul does. So the answer is A. So we see it where Paul says, "We are all educated." So he's identifying us as educated. So therefore we should use Caribbean Standard English. And then O'Brien says, "But I am not speaking a broken language. I am speaking Caribbean Creole English." So Paul and Brian are the ones that use it, advocate it as identification. So 18 is A. So 16 is B, 17 is D, as in dog, and 18 is A, as in apple. All right, 19, which of the following Creole features is evident in the structure tangle up with his words and feelings? That was a repeated question from the last one. Repetition, serial verbs, unmarked tense, or reduplication.
C.
C, unmarked tense. 20, when a speaker changes his language use between Caribbean Standard English and Creole English during a conversation, he is said to be doing what? Code switching, Creole switching, dialect switching, language switching.
So is it C?
Yeah. Let's see. 20.
Is it A?
A, code switching. You hear that term a lot. Code switching. So 20 is A, 19 is C. Moving on to 21, still under module 2. Another dialogue. Martha says, "Hi girl, you know, hear what going on in the village. Jackie said that she neighbor was peeping through the fence last week. You ever hear things so?" Simone says, "You mean her neighbor? I don't understand why all you can't talk proper English like me." Martha says, "But what is your problem, girl? I come to tell you some juicy stories and you're telling me about speaking properly. That's how I does talk and I'm proud for so." Right? So 21 asks, which of the following attitudes to language is revealed in the dialogue? Outrage at the use of standard English, outrage at the use of Creole, or pride in the use of Creole? 21. Anything, guys? Attitudes to language.
E?
Is it D?
C?
Yeah, C, answer is C. Says Simone is, Martha expresses pride in the use of Creole, and Simone expresses outrage at the use of Creole. And so there's no outrage at the use of standard English. So 21 is C, 2 and 3 only. 22, which of the following reveals that Simone thinks she is speaking proper English? She does not condone village gossip. She does not listen to village gossip. She uses the phrase, "Why all you can't talk proper like me?" And Martha asks her, "But what is your problem, girl?" So this is 22. Which of the following reveals that Simone thinks she's speaking proper English?
So,
C.
See, Simone said, I don't understand why all you can't talk proper English like me. She thinks that she's speaking proper English when she really isn't. So 22 is C. 23, in which of the following quotations from the passage is an attitude to language reflected? You ever hear things so? I come to tell you some juicy stories. She neighbor was peeping through she fence last week. That's how I does talk and I'm proud for some.
E.
23, you said B or D?
D as in dog.
Yeah, D. Yeah, she expresses pride in speaking Creole. So 23 is dog. 24, in the dialogue, language is used for the purposes of what? Directing and informing, directing and persuading, questioning and directing, or questioning and persuading. 24.
Sir D.
No, D is not the best one.
I said D.
24. Oh, she's not really, so she's not really questioning, those are mostly rhetorical. So it says, what is the dialogue language for the purpose of that? 24.
Sir, is it B as in boy?
B? No, I can't say there's much persuading either. So the answer is really A. And you can tell because it's informing. So remember the first one, Martha is saying, she's reporting, Jackie said that the neighbor was peeping through she fence last week. So she's informing. Martha is informing Simone, right? And Simone now is asking, why you can't talk proper English like me. She's not really asking me. She's basically saying, speak proper English. I know that one might have been a bit difficult because nobody really got it. So 24 is A, it's directing and informing, right? So informing and directing, and we see how each of them does that. So 21 is C, 22 is C, 23 is dog, and 24 is apple, right? So we're doing well, guys. So 25 now. Which of the following statements best explains the meaning of the term lingua franca? A language which is derived from French and used by African slaves, any language which is native to African peoples who have been transplanted, a common language used in dialogue by persons with different native languages, or any language which is foreign to a speaker who moves to a new speech community. So lingua franca is just, it's a Latin phrase that just means one thing. So it can't be interpreted any other way. So 25.
C.
C, common language used in dialogue by persons with different native languages, right? Lingua franca. 25 is C. 26, an English Creole may be defined as a language that what? With limited linguistic functions, used by the poorest people in the society, only used by some persons in the society, developed from contact between European and African language. 26.
D.
You said D?
Yes, sir. D as in dog.
Yeah, 26 is dog. All right, 27, which are the following expressions is the process of reduplication evident? Another repeat question. Stepsister, I water, wagwan, chaka chaka hose.
Dog.
Chaka chaka hose.
Yeah, dog, 27. All right, still on module 2, another dialogue. Most of this is going to be dialogue. And Percy says, I can't believe that Mavis gone, but I'm really glad she had a great funeral. Mildred said, the kids and grandkids came from foreign for the funeral. Percy says, yes, ma'am, one of them talks so nice, like the people in the television shows. But the other one, poor Mavis must be spinning in her grave. Mildred asks, what do you mean? Percy says, well, I couldn't understand a thing he was saying during the eulogy he was giving. All I could hear was I and I this and I and I that. He should know that people don't talk so in church. Right? So 28 asks, what does Percy's statement, he should know that people don't talk so in church, suggest? Is it that Mavis's grandson is disrespectful in church? Percy does not like Mavis's grandson. Context is critical to the choice of code. or Christians speak differently from others? 28.
So C.
So C.
C, context is
C.
critical. Yeah, 28 is C. 29, from Percy's statements, what are the two varieties of language most likely spoken by Mavis's grandchildren? Jamaican English and English Creole, Rastafarian English and English Creole, television English and Rastafarian English, or standard English and Rastafarian English?
Sir, is it boy?
D.
C.
No, no, it's not D, not D. Most likely.
D.
Remember, they both mentioned it. You know, it's its own way, but it's as it is. So the first one says she talked about people in the television shows, and then the other one now is a Rastafarian. So the answer for 29 is C. All right, so everybody get that? 29.
Sir, what is the answer for 29?
C. C. Because remember, let's read it again. One of them talks so nice like the people in television shows, right? So,
But sir, couldn't that be standard English? That doesn't make sense.
it could be standard English. But if you said D, I wouldn't say no. But you know, there's no guarantee that it is complete standard. It could be Creole, and then you know, but we know for sure that Rastafarian is there. So it's not A and it's not B. So I probably would change it. I would probably say D for 29. Standard English and Rastafarian English. All right. So let's go with D for 29 upon reading it again. So 30, which of the following technological devices might not help to enhance the delivery of eulogy? It's a camera, microphone, musical accompaniment, drums, or a projected slide presentation. It said not.
A.
C.
Well, it's A. Well, C.
Third
Then
Oh,
it says not. A microphone, musical accompaniment, projected slide. So yeah, so the answer is A. So 28 is C, 29 is D, and 30 is A. All right, so we'll finish with module 2. We're going to the final one now, which is speaking and writing.
Sir,
Yeah.
why isn't 29 C?
So I think the most likely answer is standard English, because television English, how do you define television English? You know, that's not so well defined. But Rastafarian English, we know how the dialect of most Rastafarians. But we assume that because the person speaks so well enough, like they sound like they're on TV, that they sound as if they're speaking standard English. So that's why we say D is really more likely than C. Because television language just doesn't have anything to really define it, in my opinion. Right? So we're moving on to the last module now. So we're moving fast. We'll probably finish by 3:30. All right, so 10 students from McIntosh High in Jamaica are visiting Cuba to improve their knowledge of Spanish and Cuban culture. They are being hosted by students from Jose Marti High. When the students return to school in Jamaica, they will be required to write a report on their experience. 31 asks, which of the following contexts of communication best describes the interaction between two groups of students? Is it public, intercultural, interpersonal, or organizational? 31.
B.
You said B?
As in boy.
Yeah, B as in boy, intercultural. Right? 32, which of the following genres will the report most likely be written? Narrative, exposition, argument, or in what combination of them? They're writing a report.
A.
So
Yeah, A, 1 and 2 on narrative and exposition. And so 32 is A. 33, while in Cuba, the students attended the seminar. The guest speaker noticed that many of the visitors seemed restless during his presentation, even though he was speaking audibly. Which of the following was not likely responsible for their restlessness? He was speaking too fast, he was speaking in a monotone, he was using many unfamiliar words, or he complemented his speech with projected slides. Not likely responsible.
Sir D.
Sir B.
B, right? He complemented his speech. So 33 is D. So 31 is B, 32 is A, and 33 is D as in dog. Extract. During assembly, Sally, a fifth form student, gives the following speech on the topic, why I'm proud to be from the Caribbean. Right? So repeat question, but we're still going through it. Let us change the names. While she's giving her presentation, some students keep covering their mouths and snickering. However, Sally does not notice this because her eyes are glued to the paper from which she's reading. A pleasant good morning. How are you, friends and family? Let me see the hands of those who are having a good time. Come on, let me see the hands of those who are having a good time. Wave your hands and say, yeah, yeah. Okay, I am proud to be from the Caribbean because my parents are of African descent. The Caribbean is mostly Black country, therefore most of the people are Black. I am one of them. My father Black, my mother Black, and my mother Black. We're all Black. So 34 asks, at which stage of the communication process does Sally generate ideas for her speech? Is it decoding, interpreting, conceptualizing, or giving feedback?
C.
C, sir.
Yeah. 35, which of the following best explains why some students were covering their mouths and snickering? They identified with Sally, presentation was too boring, angry at Sally's choice of words, amused by Sally's choice of words. 35.
Sir Dog.
Huh? Yeah, they were amused by Sally's choice of words, so it's dog. 36, which of the following messages is being sent by Sally's lack of eye contact? She's nervous, she's well prepared, she's articulate enough, she did enough research. 36.
A.
36. 37, which of the following best describes the type of discourse in Sally's speech? Argumentative, mainly expository, mainly conversational, mixture of narrative and argument. 37.
Sir C.
C, yeah, she's having a conversation. It's not that serious, not any of the others. So 34 is C, 35 is D, 36 is A, and 37 is C. All right, so last 8 questions. All right, this comic is clear, so you can see it. The first panel says, fight down Babylon, whoa, whoa, stand firm, young brethren, whoa, whoa. Barry's father says, Barry, how could you listen to this? I don't understand a word. And then he replies, but Dad, this song is very profound. It is saying that young men need to think for themselves and not blindly follow the established opinions of others. Of course, his father says, well, why didn't he say it like that? And then Barry replies, then it wouldn't be a cool tune. So 38 asks, what barrier to the communication process is highlighted in the response of Barry's father in frame 2? The singer's voice, the beat of the song, the lyrics of the song, the loudness of the music. 38.
C.
C.
Yeah, C, the words. So he's talking about the lyrics. So 38 is C. 39, instead of the words used in frame 2, what non-verbal behavior could Barry's father have used to convey the same message? In frame 2.
A. A.
That's what 39, no. It's not A. Barry's father said, Barry, how do you listen to this? I don't understand a word.
D.
So 39, is it shake his head, turn off the radio, hum under his breath, or raise his brows quizzically? He says he doesn't understand. It's D. Yeah, he's showing he's not understanding it. And so he raises his brows. Like, what is this guy saying? I don't understand. So 39 is done. 40, Barry's use of cool in the last frame. Frame 5 is an example of what? Slang, jargon, dialect, or profanity. Number 40.
Sir A.
A, slang. Yeah, so 38 is C, 39 is dog, and 40 is A. And running through fast. And last 5 questions. So there is an election campaign being run for a recently vacant parliamentary seat. Candidates are willing and able to use every means at their disposal to win widespread support of the voting public. 41 asks, which of the following features of nonverbal communication would candidates be least likely to display when giving speeches to supporters in a public space? Least likely. Is it waving their hands in the air, shouting at the audience, embracing a close family member, or smiling at the women in the audience?
B.
41, yeah, it's B, shouting at the audience. So he'll do all of the others, but shouting, people not going to understand what he's saying. So 42, which of the following verbal communication elements can help the candidates to effectively get their message to the voting population? Statistics and sarcasm, party slogans and emotive language, rhetorical questions and party symbols, public service announcements and flyers. 42.
D.
You said D?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, public service announcements and flyers. Verbal. So verbal is anything, words, whether they're written or spoken. Right? So D. And we have to bear in mind the audience set to the voting population. So 41 is boy and 42 is dog. Right, almost finished. 43, a student's expository essay should typically aim to do what? Affect emotions, recount experiences, enlighten and instruct the reader, or present the writer's personal viewpoint. 43.
Dog.
Mhm.
C.
Sir,
C.
C.
It's not
And
B, it's C. 43 is C, right? Because you're not aiming to persuade, you're just showing, you're just explaining. So if you're doing a persuasive, then it would have been dog. If you're doing a narrative, then it would have been boy. If you're doing something emotive, then it would have been A. But 43 is C, enlighten and instruct the reader. So 44, which of the following would be the main organizational strategy using an expository essay on the topic of types of luxury vehicles? Description, classification, chronological order, comparison, and contrast. 44. Types of luxury vehicles.
Sir, D.
B.
B. Yeah, classification. Because you're saying types, so you have to put them into groups. All right, so 44 is B. 45, so the following elements is typically not used in exposition: emotive language, facts and statistics, information from experts, details supporting main points.
A, sir.
A, emotive language. All right, so 43 is C, 44 is B, and 45 is A. All right, so we'll finish with that one. We'll take another little break. We can come back in 5 minutes, so about 20 minutes to the hour or quarter to. Yeah. And then we'll move on to 2019, which is the last paper. So don't go too far. 5 more minutes. We're ready to start again. And we are doing the 2019 paper. It's the last one that we're doing. Same thing, we'll probably finish by about 3:30. So first 7 questions, we're going to read an extract twice, and then we get into it. All right, so this is taken from Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, and it reads, yesterday afternoon, set in misty and cold, I had half a mind to spend it by my study fire instead of wading through heath and mud to Wuthering Heights. On coming up from dinner, however, NB, I dined between 12 and 1 o'clock. The housekeeper, a matronly lady taken as a fixture along with the host, could not or would not comprehend my request that I be served at 5. On mounting the stairs with this lazy intention and stepping into the room, I saw a servant girl on her knees surrounded by brushes and coal scuttles and raising an infernal dust as she extinguished the flames with heaps of cinders. This spectacle drove me back immediately. I took my hat and after a 4 miles walk, arrived at Heathcliff's garden gate just in time to escape the first feathery flakes of a snow shower. Right? So that's the first time that I read it. Let me read it one more time. Yesterday afternoon, set in misty and cold, I had half a mind to spend it by my study fire instead of wading through heath and mud to Wuthering Heights. On coming up from dinner, however, NB, I dined between 12 and 1 o'clock. The housekeeper, a matronly lady, taken as a fixture along with the host, could not or would not comprehend my request that I be served at 5. On mounting the stairs with this lazy intention and stepping into the room, I saw a servant girl on her knees surrounded by brushes and coal scuttles and raising an infernal dust as she extinguished the flames with heaps of cinders. This spectacle drove me back immediately. I took my hat and after a 4 miles walk, arrived at Heathcliff's garden gate just in time to escape the first feathery flakes of a snow shower. All right, so we're finished reading it twice. And the first question is, which of the following best describes the speaker's dominant emotional state throughout the episode described in the extract? Is it relief, disgust, indifference, or conflictedness? It's number 1. Like older English stuff, so it might be a bit more difficult to understand. So number 1, relief, disgust, indifference, conflictedness. What is it? Anything, guys?
Sir, B.
No, not disgust. There's a better answer. Best describes.
Indifference.
Not indifference either. All right, so I know this one is a bit tough, but the answer is D, conflictedness. Why? You can tell. So the person said they had half a mind, to spend it by their study fire. So it's like they were saying they want to do this, but then they changed and they did something else. So they felt conflicted. So number 1 is dog. Number 2, the use of the expression wading through heath and mud suggests that the speaker what? Relishes the idea, is excited about the idea, looks forward to the idea, is ambivalent about the idea. Wading through heath and mud. When they said, I had half a mind to spend it by my study fire instead of wading through heath and mud. See? So does it sound like they're excited or they're looking forward to it?
D.
Okay, D, they're ambivalent about it. Like I said, they said they were at half a mind, basically. Number 3, which of the following effects result from the speaker's inclusion of the expression NB, I dine between 12 and 1 o'clock? Is it that they're qualifying what is being said, suggesting deliberation in thought, suggesting that he's a good communicator? which combination of that, I should say.
Sir, is it A?
Yeah, it is A, 1 and 2 only. So he's qualifying what is being said, and they're suggesting deliberation in thought. So like they're narrating, and then afterwards they just pause and say, like, NB, note well, by the way, I dine between 12 and 1 o'clock. So it's 1 and 2 only, which is A. 4, the expression taken as a fixture along with the host suggests that the housekeeper what? Belonged in the house, had a fixed place and position, had been retained when he became owner, could be relied on to keep things in order. 4.
Sir, C.
No, C is not the best answer. They're a fixture along with the host, and basically
Sir, D.
D had been retained when he became owner. So they basically come with the place. Right? So 4 is dog. 5, which of the following best captures the associations which the speaker wished to convey by his use of the term raising and infernal dust. So let's go back to it. I saw a servant girl on her knees surrounded by brushes and coal scuttles and raising an infernal dust. Right? So which of the following best associates, that best captures the associations which the speaker wished to convey by saying that. Stifling heat and light, offensive noise and heat, confounding noise and light, irritating heat, noise and light. Number 5.
A.
A.
Why not? Sorry, it's not A.
Sir, is it dog?
Sir, I'm not hearing a noise. Almost A.
Sir, is it the dog?
Irritating noise, heat and light. All right, let's read it back. Raising an infernal dust, as she extinguished the flames with heaps of cinders. I mean, noise would probably be in it, but maybe not so much.
So, sir, what's the answer?
All right, I am leaning towards heat and light, dust, infernal, but noise, it probably wouldn't make up a bag of noise. So I would say A. So 5 is A. All right, so 6. 6, the speaker's use of the word spectacle suggests that the what? Servant girl was usually attractive. The servant girl's behavior was dramatic. The entire episode of cleaning the fireplace was overdone, or the entire episode of cleaning the fireplace was unnecessary. So let's go back to it. It said, where is it? This spectacle drove me back immediately. Right here. So what does it convey? Servant girl was attractive, behavior was dramatic, entire episode of cleaning the fireplace was overdone, entire episode of cleaning the fireplace was unnecessary. She's creating a spectacle. Yeah, C is the answer. 6. All right. 7, which of the following literary devices is not using the extract? Simile, contrast, sarcasm, metaphor.
A.
A, why A? No. But is there any sarcasm?
C.
All right, so metaphors are there. So we saw metaphors. We see contrast. Do we see any similes or sarcasm? Don't see any like or as. So it said not. Where is the similes? I don't see any similes in it.
But sir, could a simile be taken as a fixture along the house?
Yeah, I was going to ask that question.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, because she is like a fixture along with the host. So that could be one. Well, I'm not seeing any sarcasm either. So it's probably C. Yeah, C is the more definite answer than A. So 7 is C. So let's go back 3. 1 is dog. 2 is also dog. 3 is A. 4 is also dog, 5 is A, 6 is C, and 7 is C. All right. Remember, you're gonna get the recording and you're gonna get the answer. So don't worry about it. All right. So again, some individual questions or sections of questions might repeat. So this is another one. We'll just run through it very quickly. Media field of reports of teenagers being distracted by digital technology, and they have a preoccupation affecting their schoolwork. Haldane, a sociology student, decides to investigate the phenomenon, and he uses interviews to collect data. Which of the following activities would Haldane need to undertake as part of his research? On talking.
Dog, all 3.
Yeah, dog, all of them. 9. Which of the following could be an advantage if Haldane conducted interviews? Cost effectiveness, wide geography.
Is it dog?
Yeah, that one is also dog. I hope everybody remembers the questions because we don't have to go through it completely again. 10, Haldane found an article, modern technology causing Canadian students to fail. The article could be useful to its research as it does what?
C, secondary data.
Secondary data, yeah. 11, why would it be unacceptable for Haldane to apply the findings of his research to all teenagers? 11.
Dog.
Yeah, the population is only students from the school. So it's not representative of the entire population. All right, so breeze through that. Again, this one is also a repetition, but we're gonna go through it. Trisha Davis, head of the English department at Malcolm High School, realizes that over a 5-year period, fewer students choose literatures in English, like to research the reason for that and to put in place a program to reverse it. So which of the following research designs would be the most suitable? And that question is, which of the following research designs would be the most suitable for Miss Davis to use? Number 12. Descriptive, exploratory, correlational, or experimental?
Exploratory.
Yeah, why? Why exploratory? And she's investigating, she wants to find out reasons for a particular phenomenon. So she has to explore it basically. So 12 is boy. Right? She's not describing, she's not trying to find correlation, and she's not experimenting. Right? She just wants to find out the reasons. 13, which of the following factors would invalidate the generalization which Miss Davis makes from the findings? Yeah, these questions.
B as in boy.
13, yeah.
Mhm.
So the sample is not representative of the population, yes. So that 13 is boy. Hope everybody is following despite we're going fast. 14, which of the following data collection methods is the most suitable for Miss Davis to use in her research?
A as in
Interview.
apple.
Interview.
Yeah, interview. 15, which of the following must Miss Davis consider in selecting her sample? 1, 2.
All 3.
Yeah, yeah. So 12 is boy, 13 is boy, 14 is apple, and 15 is dog. All right, and finish with module 1. All right, module 2, this one is new. This extract. So Miss Clemmy keep on looking at Ascot as if he's stranger, and Daggerman sit on the bench outside as if he too afraid to come near the lady. The children start playing around the car and make as if to open the door, and Ascot snap at them so bad that my mother had to say, "Hi, Ascot, is your own little brothers you're treating so?" "Half brother," Ascot said. From then on, things just get from bad to worse. Ascot looked like he real vexed with Miss Clemmy, and the wife and stepfather looked like they're real vexed with Ascot. So finally, Ascot said, "Come, let me take you all home, for I have to get back to Kingston tonight." But by this time, Daggerman's face set, and he said he preferred to walk, and Miss Clemmy and the children get into the car alone. And even though Miss Clemmy looked like she's going to cry, you can still see she feeling proud to have her son driving in her car. But as they drive off, all we can hear is Ascot shouting at the children to take their dirty feet off the car seat. All right, 16 asks, when Ascot says, "Come, let me take you all home," in line 78, he aims to do what? Make Daggerman angry, get back to Kingston that night, ease the tension among the family, or take his mother and her other children for a drive. 16.
C.
Is it C?
See, sir.
Yes, he said, "Come, let me take you all home, for I have to get back to Kingston tonight." Yeah, see, ease tension among the family. Like you want to find a distraction. All right. 17, the writer's use of English Creole throughout the extract suggests that English Creole is what? A broken language and authentic language, is used only by illiterate people or should not be used for literary purposes.
B as in boy.
B, yeah, 17 is B. 18, which of the following does not convey a communicative behavior? Remember the communicative behaviors, proxemics, vocalics, all those things. A, Ascot snap at them. B, Daggerman sit on the bench outside. C, from then on things get from bad to worse. And D, the wife and stepfather look like they're real vexed with Ascot.
C as in cat.
See, sir.
Yeah. 19, what communicative behavior does Daggerman exhibit in lines 8 to 9? Let's go back up, 8 to 9. But by this time, Daggerman face set and he say he preferred to walk, and Miss Clemmy and the children get into the car alone. Yeah. So what communicative behavior? Fear, shame, confuse, or hostility?
Is it dog?
Hostility.
Yeah, it's dog, hostility. You know, and say I'm vexed, so you know, I prefer to walk. So 16 is C, 17 is B, 18 is C, and 19 is D, as in dog. All right. Moving on. This one is also new. This one is taken from Trinidad, I think, or Ghana. All right. So Tulwa asked Gobin if he thought Hulucharan would leave anything for Harry. Harry disappointed he bad, said Tulwa. Me can't tell you, Tulwa, said Gobin, shaking his head patiently. Only he lawyer can tell you what he left and what he ain't left. Tulwa glanced around again and then asked why he didn't take Rambury for he lawyer. Ain't Rambury his son-in-law? Me can't tell you, Tulwa, said Gobin, fidgeting and frowning now. Right? So that sounds like somebody is dead and they are arguing about deadlift and things like that. So 20, which example of Creole structure is evident in the statement, Harry disappoint he bad? Is it front focusing, serial verb construction, use of double negative, or subject pronoun in object position? 20.
D as in dog.
Yeah, it's B. You know, he should be him. So most you know, Trinidad and Guyanese would speak like that. So the subject pronoun is in the object position. So 20 is dog. 21, why would Creole be the most appropriate choice of language in this scenario? It is representative of characters, the context is informal, the topic is informal. 21. Which one of them?
1 and 2.
3. They're talking about family. It seems that somebody just died and they want to divide up the assets and so on. That's not, it doesn't seem very formal, does it? And why not? Topic is informal. So it's D, right? So it's all of them. It's representative of the characters, context is informal, and the topic is informal. It's not you're not in school or at work, right? So 21 is dog. 22, Tulwa's use of nonverbal communication in the extract indicates that she is what? Inquisitive, conscious, indifferent, or considerate. 22. Any ideas?
Conscious.
22, no, it's not conscious. Not conscious. Yeah, it's inquisitive. Yeah, well, 22 is A, inquisitive. All right, because you know she wants to find out more information. Like, did the person die and leave anything for them or not? So she's out of she uses, that's the way that she uses nonverbal communication. So 22 is A. 23, which of the following features of Caribbean Creole English is evident in the extract? Is it calque, vowel insertion, double negative, or zero copula use? And 20.
Sorry, D.
D.
You said D? Why D?
D as in dog.
No, it's not D. It's not D. Okay. So following features is evident in the extract. So there are no double negatives. We already saw that one. So it's not C. Right, let's go through each of them. So a calc is like a word for word kind of thing, right? So you can see that when he says, you know, the what he left and what he ain't left, right? Left, right there meaning is different. Like what did he leave from in his will? They're trying to convey something different. Like when he said dead left, we know that what they're talking about is a will. So what he left, what he ain't left, they're talking about will and items in the will. So a calc is there. There's no vowel insertion that we see, and zero copula use is, we can't say that that is there because copulas are there. Things like Harry disappoint, he bad, you know, why he didn't take Ramberry for he lawyer, only he lawyer, those are copulas, the joining words in between. So those are there. So the answer for 23 is actually A, right? Caribbean Creole English. Calc is there. You know, they're talking about dead left, what he left, it's a will, that translates to will. So 23 is A. 24, we're moving on. This went through this extract already, but we
Sir,
still...
you said 23 is D or A?
23 is A. And so 20 is dog, 21 is dog, 22 is apple, and 23 is apple. So DDA. All right. So 24 went through this one already. We still read it. It's the one with Rufus and the brother talking to the politician. Rufus had a passion, vexation when he stand up before a crowd. He would get all tangled up in his words and feelings. Rufus do have education. They tell the story how he was talking about the cost of living. People can't eat book in the country. People can't eat words. What the people need is bread. B-R-E-D, bread. Rufus, you leave out the A, and him say B-R-E-D-A. They tell us another time that Mr. Richardson suggests they should put more boys in the sea. Boys, Rufus said, big men does drown out there, and he wants to put boys. No, we couldn't vote for Rufus. Who we want in the council is a man that qualified, a man with education, just like the people in Britain. Ivan could really talk. Rufus was all right, but after you listen to Ivan Martin, you had to put Rufus aside. So which of the following roles is language using the extract? Social, ethical, political, psychological?
Political.
Yeah, 25. So 24 is C, 25. The narrator relates stories about Rufus mainly to do what? Show hatred for him, show that Rufus is uneducated, show that people dislike Rufus, validate the view that Rufus is competent.
B.
B as in boy.
B, yeah. 26, which of the following attitudes may be inferred about the narrator based on his account of Rufus's behavior? He values education, likes British people. Yeah, values education. So the questions repeat. So that was 2017, 2018, 2019. And we have up to 2021, I think. So we'll send those as well before the exam. 27, English, Creole, and Caribbean may be defined as a language that what? Limited.
Dog.
Dog. Yeah.
Dog.
Yeah. Developed from contact. You know, that's what literal Creole means. It mixes two of them, Europeans and Africans. 27 is dog. 28, to the following terms refers to the range of language choices available to a speaker for use in different situations. Dialect, Creole, register, orthography.
C.
C, register. And everybody knows the difference between tone and register. Tone is how it sounds. Register is really the setting in which you are speaking. Everybody knows Creole is like a variation of language. No, sorry, dialect is a variation of language, like Creole is a variation of English, Basilect, Mesolect, Acrolect, just to explain some of them. And orthography is a system of writing. So like how they write patois, that is orthography. 29, Reduplication, which one is it? I water, stepsister, wagwan, chaka chaka.
Dog.
30, which of the following is an example of the use of language performing a social function? Is it praying silently, introducing oneself, reading a comic strip, or making a journal entry? 30.
B.
Boy.
Yeah, boy, because you're introducing yourself to other people. All right, so 30 is boy. So 27D, 28C, 29D, and 30 boy. All right, so move on. Almost finished. 31. Yeah, same kind of scenario, but different thing. So your friend Kristen is running for head girl and you have agreed to be her campaign manager. Kristen has to give a speech to the upper school students at the General Assembly. 31 asked, to which of the following two elements of the communication process should Kristen pay the most attention if her speech is to be effective? Is it the noise and receiver, noise and feedback, message and receiver, conceptualization and message? 31.
D as in dog.
D? That's what you said? Any? All right, yeah, the answer is D. Well, no, the answer is not D, not for that one.
C.
Yeah, it is C. Yeah, 31 is C. The receiver is audience, so she has to think about the audience as well as what she's going to say. For D, conceptualization is basically part of the message. So the most likely answers are most attention, message and receiver. So 31 is C. 32, you anticipate that some of the students might easily forget Kristen's manifesto. Which of the following actions would make the manifesto more memorable?
So could B work for this one?
32?
B as in boy, if B could work for it.
Yeah, B is answer. Using
Okay.
and symbols. So charts and graphs, nobody really wants to read a graph. Being as direct as possible, being as thorough as possible. Yeah, those can help, but they're subjective. So using slogans and jingles will make people remember it. So 32 is B. 33, which of the following non-verbal communication methods would be the most effective in helping Kristen enhance her presentation to the audience? The dress, gestures, proxemics, or chronemics? 33.
B as in boy.
Yeah, gestures, B as in boy. 34. Which of the following audience reactions would indicate that the upper school students are likely to vote for Kristen? Looking at her while she speaks, loud rumbling whenever she pauses, discussing her main points with friends, applauding whenever she makes a point. 34.
Dog.
Dog.
B as in dog.
Good feedback, yeah. 35, if Kristen is to avoid sending mixed or unintentional messages to her audience, to which aspect of the communication process should she pay special attention? Noise, medium, encoding, or conceptualization? 35. She doesn't want to send any mixed signals, so what should she pay attention to most?
Sir D.
D.
Said D as in boy
Dog.
or dog? Dog, right?
Sir Dog.
Yeah. Yeah, D. Conceptualization. So 35. Well, no, it's not dog, actually. So there's a difference between conceptualization and encoding. So conceptualization just means I'm thinking about the idea of the message. So meaning what I'm going to put in it. But just thinking of the idea, but encoding is how I'm going to actually present it. So the more likely answer here for 35 is C, encoding. Right? So everybody understands that, right? It's the way that she puts the message together. So conceptualization is just thinking about it, but encoding is how she's basically going to put it on paper. So the answer for 35 is C. Okay? So 31,
Yes,
yeah, so 31 is C, 32 is B, 33 is also B, 34 is dog, and 35 is C. All right, 10 more questions left. Well, I can see this clearly. I don't know if you can see it clearly. because I want to go through these questions. The image, can you see the image clearly?
A bit, sir.
Yes, sir.
Antigua, Barbuda. This beach is just the beginning. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Antigua and Barbuda, the beach is just the beginning. The I in Antigua is a tree. That is to the dark thing at the to the left is a conch shell, and the rest of it underneath it is water at a beach. All right. So using that, let's try and answer these questions. I don't want to skip over the visual ones. What type of advertising is featured in the picture? 36. Is it service, classified, corporate, or government?
Service?
Yeah.
Yeah, but why not government? Which one is most likely? Remember, they are marketing the country, and it's usually government. So like you think about Jamaica Tourist Board and all the ads, it's usually them put it out, Ministry of Tourism. Does that sound strong enough? Yes. Or are you still sticking with service?
Sir, I'm sticking with service.
Yes, sir. I would say service.
All right. I will strict on it. I don't think service is wrong, but government also has a bit of a claim. So 37. Which of the following appeals is the most dominant in the advertisement? Remember, it's a tourist advertisement. So status and humor, youth and pleasure, pleasure and status, or patriotism and status. 37.
C.
C?
C, pleasure and status. I mean, tourism, you're appealing to tourists, and only like certain kinds of tourists can travel certain places. So that confers a bit of status. Pleasure, they come for a good time. So 37 is C. 38, the purpose of the shell on the beach in the advertisement is to do what? Share the diverse fauna of the islands, suggest the islands as a tropical escape, serve as a universal symbol of tourism, ensure that the composition is balanced.
B.
B as in boy.
38, yeah, it's B, suggests that the island is a tropical escape. 39, one possible reason for including the tagline, the beach is only the beginning, is to do what? Indicate that this destination is unique, celebrate geographical diversity inclusive of coastal areas, indicate national pride in the country inclusive of beaches, or suggest that the island's varied attractions beyond beaches.
Sir, C.
D as in dog.
D as in dog.
Yes, D, so not C. The beach is just the beginning, so the island has way more attractions than that. So 39 is dog. All right, so 36, I would say A or D. And sometimes examiners have questions where they have two answers and they'll give you in any case. So 36 A or D, 37 is C, 38 is B, 39 is D. Right? 40. Right. So we'll give you another scenario. A sixth form class was practicing to write. A student's expository essay. No, a sixth form class was practicing to write expository essays. The students were exposed to the various features of exposition and guidelines for producing this type of essay in an academic context. So 40 asks, a student's expository essay should typically aim to do what? Affect the emotions, recount experiences, enlighten and instruct the reader, or present the writer's personal viewpoint.
C.
C.
C, yeah, expository. 41, which of the following would be the main organizational strategy using an expository essay on the topic, types of luxury vehicles?
B. Classification.
Yeah, I mean, it repeats. I guess I just changed the names. 42, which of the following organizational strategy features of language is not used in exposition?
A. Emotive
A.
language.
A.
All right, so 40 is C, 41 is B, and 42 is A. All right. 43. Yeah, so again, another repeat question. Ask to speak to a group of 20 kindergarten children on environmental cleanliness. Which of the following would be the most appropriate way to share information with the audience? 43.
B.
B.
B as in boy.
Boy.
Yeah. 44, so the following is a sequence that the presenter should follow to successfully complete the communication process.
A.
C.
A.
And why is
So is it A?
No, because to successfully complete the communication process. So A says encoding, then selecting the channel, selecting the audience, disseminating the message. No, I don't think, well, you don't really select the audience because the audience is given to you. So that doesn't need to be mentioned. And you don't really have control over the audience. So it can't be A.
C.
So C is the more proper answer. It's conceiving it, then encoding it, then selecting the channel, then disseminating it. And so you don't select the audience is just given to you. So 44 is C. So 45, what two organizational features would best help your audience to easily follow your speech? Is it editing and concluding, formatting and editing, researching and outlining, proofreading and paragraphing? 45.
Dog.
D.
B as in boy.
B as in boy. Because the only reason I wouldn't say D is because paragraphing is not really necessary. Proofreading is necessary, yes, but proofreading is also a form of editing. So that would be covered in B. So the more likely answer is boy, formatting and editing. So 43 is boy, 44 is C, and 45 is boy. And that's it, guys. So I'll just make myself available for the final 10 minutes. We can go up until 3:30 if you have any questions about multiple choice, but it's multiple choice, so we know how that goes already. If there are any questions, if there are no questions, then we can wrap up in the next 1 or 2 minutes.
Yes, sir, I have a question. Does CXC use like a mark scheme, or no, not a mark scheme, like a booklet with the answers? And if they use that, will they be able to share it with us? Because usually we'll get some answer sheets from some other individuals, but
yeah, sometimes
those answer sheets might be.
Yeah, sometimes CXC has specimen papers and they give the answers. So just an example paper, and then they would give the answers along with it. But those are like 1 or 2 every 5 or 6 years. These answers that we have for these papers, we can give you them. Other papers, we can give you the papers. We may not have the answers, but it's good practice to go through, and you have time for your questions. But CXC, they don't give away all of them. So I think they only reveal the answers like years after to the public, that is. If you get it otherwise, then it's probably just a leak or something.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Is there like a major examination next week that people are preparing for? Because usually, since this is paper 1, most persons might not come since they're preparing for a bigger exam. But all paper 2s are probably done by now. Because the numbers today aren't as high as they were last time. If there are no other questions, guys, then I guess we can probably wrap it up here. And thanks for attending the session. And as I said, we're going to send this recording. This recording you'll have access to, and you will also be able to have access to the papers and the answers that we went through, as well as more of them later in the week. Just contact the persons at New Jamaica Foundation and they will set you up. All right. So all the best with this exam and any other exams that you have for the rest of the time.
Take care, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.